boy, you can tell I'm feeling motivated. This is the second script I'm writing today. Whoop. That was the best whoop ever. So, what's it about? This is going to be a quick history of speedrunning the LU Monument. There's not too much to talk about, but people took me up on my challenge to look into the speedrunning the monument, and we got some very nice results. So I want to share their work with you today. So what's the challenge? The challenge was to run the LU Monument as quickly as possible, with your time starting the second you crossed the line, the monument's ramp over the floor, and finishing when your feet landed on the road. The challenge was to do this as quickly as possible, because, you know, speedrunning, whilst only taking routes that were possible in all climbs. In other words, quick build enabled routes were out, and routes requiring smashables were out too. When I set up the challenge, I knew a simple route to do the monument: run up the ramp and around the back of the monument onto the green route. Hopefully Vicey can edit some footage of one of these runs in here. From there, you can keep climbing far enough to jump onto the ledge with the heart flag. You could jump between the two minifigures, run up the skeleton's ribcage, to its arm, dead cow, and onto the final stretch, these slabs around the back of the monument. From there you could jump off and make it onto the grassy bit to the left of the monument, sort of that quarry area where there's like lower stuff. And jump up the rocks all the way to the road. And yeah, I'm good at describing things. In other words, you could make it to the road pretty quickly. Or so I thought then. However, I did not realise what I'd just started. Firstly, after a bit more research, I found that actually certain bits of terrain on which it looks like you shouldn't be able to balance, you actually can. I found this because I noticed I had some leeway in one of my last running jumps, but more interestingly, it got me to look at a ridge of rocks separating the monument from the quarry to its side in a new light. Maybe you could run up part of that. I began to test this, and it turned out you could. Doing this, you cut out a lot of wasted time around the back of the monument, climb past an orange elevator, and go directly to the skeleton's ribcage. From here, the route remained exactly the same. I investigated climbing further, but didn't really get much from that. I had, at this point, seen videos from a previous competition far earlier in the restoration community's history than I'd been aware of, and specifically I saw a run by Cyphers here, which showcased a different way of jumping to the road. You could run a little higher up the back of the skeleton and take a running jump, which cut out a lot of climbing over rocks that my route had previously included. At this point, I would like to make a shout out to the user Madbot, I want to say 236, who spent a lot of time trialling and experimenting with different possible ways of making this route work. Here, I thought it was unlikely much else would happen. I theorised that although parts of the ridge looked impassable, maybe by jumping between those steep bits you could get further, but I didn't think anyone would bother to do this. It seemed like quite a risky route, and so I thought this would be the end. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Turns out, by running the wrong way and going around to the left side of the monument right at the start, there's a jump you can make which will get you to that ridge almost directly. Using this technique and managing to implement the jumps along the ridge that I'd theorised might exist, the user Privateer managed very successfully to speedrun this, eventually managing to get this time down to about 27 seconds, which would have been 26 were it not for a slip up at the end, and we guessed that it might be possible to do the run in a minimum of 25 seconds. At this point, Vicey turned up my channel and began to speedrun this for himself. I strongly recommend you take a look at all the speedruns I've mentioned here, but this is the best I've seen. Apparently, after 9 hours of working on it that day, he managed a time of 22.16 seconds, a time which is on his channel. So far, people had mostly been working on optimising the climb up to the ridge rather than the movement after the ridge, but Vicey showed how much time clumsy movement there could lose you. He also took a clever path once he'd crossed the ridge, placing himself in a position of continuously sliding and jumping to both take the shortest route around this edge and at the same time to actually use the slope to give himself momentum, whilst maintaining that which he already had. This resulted in the 22.16 second speedrun. My initial estimate when I began this challenge was that people would optimise the standard route down to about 1 minute 45 maybe, if I ended up getting lucky and people got interested. Instead, although a very limited number of people ended up taking part in this challenge, the optimisations which occurred brought the time down to less than 21% of that. Moreover, I really enjoyed working with the people who took part, in particular going through literally frame-by-frame analysis with Privateer to work out where improvements could be made to his run. I know I had fun, and I'm pretty certain the others did too, so I would recommend checking out their videos and joining in, either to beat Vice's 22.6 or to set a record for my other more recent challenges, such as the Heart and Imagination Challenge. I've also got a new challenge I'm excited to share with you all soon, but that is a topic for another video. And so, as always, the developer channels are in the description of this video. Throw some subscriptions their way, because they're the ones who make this possible. And with that, I've been Ninja Value. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you around.